Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Nisa Fareeha. So for today, I will be doing a story time video. This is going to be a really weird video, and one of you guys probably, you know what, I'm probably going to lose more subscribers. I know I've already lost a couple of subscribers because you guys are seeing, I would assume because I don't wear my headscarf as often as I used to, or at least as often as I showed you. Let's stop rambling. Okay, so you guys might not believe in ghosts, or maybe some of you do. Some of you might believe in multi-dimensional creatures or whatever you want to call it, but this is 100% real, and if you guys think I'm crazy, I totally understand, because honestly, it's kind of insane. So today we're going to talk about my encounter, well, my experience communicating with jinns. If you don't know what jinns are, I'm just going to put a description right now. A little bit of backstory. I have had encounters with jinns growing up, because I believe because of like my family heritage and also the culture back in Malaysia. It sounds really fucked up, but I mean, it is what it is. But this is the first, and I hope the only experience that I actually communicate with a jinn. So let's just start this story time with, okay, so this happened 2017, around December of 2017, when I visited Malaysia. It was the last time I visited Malaysia. And my mom basically rented a holiday villa from my dad's aunt, if I'm not mistaken. So everybody was there. It was in Malacca. Malacca is one of our tourist state because it has like a lot of historical importance. So anyway, there's a lot of history there, and it's also like currently developing. There's still a lot of jungles and all this cool, beautiful things. I promise it's beautiful. We got to this neighborhood, and I could tell immediately that it's a neighborhood where a lot of people just buy those villas for investments, for the holidays or for an Airbnb, all that kind of thing, because I think there's only like 3 to 5 people live there around that huge neighborhood. And like I said, it was around, you know, trees and a lot of jungle. I remember pulling up to the driveway. I see this really big house, really, you know, well kept, really nice, clean swimming pool, and the villa next to this, it is, I believe it's like bluish green, no, not bluish green, bluish gray, and it's very like nobody took care of it. It's like the grass was like probably half of my height, and the pool was dirty with like rainwater, like dirty rainwater, and I think one of like the glass, like the window, broke. It just looks really scary. My brother was there, my cousins and everything like that. I think the youngest cousin at that time, I think they were like 3 years old, and they're just freaking adorable. I love them. I adore my cousins. I'm obsessed with them. So yeah, we were having a lot of fun, and my aunt brought her friend with her, and she has the ability to see ghosts, spirits. I was aware. A little bit background about me. This is so weird, but I would say I'm a pretty decently spiritual person, and I'm really sensitive when it comes to energy and vibrations. So growing up, I can always sense that, you know, something there, like another creature is there. I don't know if it's a ghost or a jinn or whatever, but I'm very good at telling if something's there. I remember, you know, hanging out with my family, and my aunt was like, do you even remember how to pray? And my mom's like, oh my god, Nisa, did you pray? And I was like, oh my god, of course I prayed. Why are you guys so freaking annoying? Like, leave me alone. Of course I know how to pray. Of course I remember. Yeah, I was lying. I didn't pray the whole day, but of course I do. I do know how to pray. If you watch the Kardashians, you would be lying if you haven't watched at least one episode, or like a gif or whatever peak of them. We're basically like that. We love each other. We're so obsessed with each other, but we're also very loud and very dramatic. So I was basically yelling at my aunt, because my mom and my aunts, they just love to tease me. So it's just like, that's just how we are. That's how we show our love, okay? To some people it might sound aggressive, but really that's how we communicate, and we're happy. So this was the time when we started, you know, the barbecue, and my cute tiny cousins decided to do like this performance for me. So me being me, I was just like cheering on. No, not me being me. Me being westernized and low-key forgot my roots and how we do things in Asia, I was like screaming, cheering on, and guess what? It was sunset. It was Maghrib, which is another prayer time. And we all know, all Asians know, at least Malaysians, or people who lives in Malaysia, when it's like sunset and it's like dark, we don't do that. We stay quiet, we stay respectful, especially if we're in a jungle, because we don't want to get possessed or we don't want to piss these creatures off. And right after I cheered for them, I just realized, fuck, I was very obnoxious, and I was like, fuck. I hope nothing would bother me tonight. Oh boy, how I was wrong. Me, my grandma, my aunt, her friend, and three of my cousins, we stay in this one room. I was sleeping on the bed, and with my aunt and my cousin and my grandma was sleeping on the floor and all that kind of stuff. In case you're my American viewers, us Asians don't care sleeping on the floor. It's not a big deal to us. And I think my little cousin, I think she was 8 or 6 that time. I can't remember. I have a lot of cousins, but she's still little, but she was probably 6 or 7 at that time, and she couldn't sleep, and none of us could sleep, so we were just like being on our phones, and then it was me, and I was sleeping next to a window, and my aunt's friend was sleeping next to me. However, I could tell she didn't want to look my way, because she was like on her phone, like laying down on her bed like that, on her back, like you know, like don't wanna, she's not looking at my direction. And I was just like, you know, talking to her, blah blah. She was like, yeah. She was like literally like this, yeah, and I was looking at her screen. She wasn't doing anything. She was literally scrolling around like super random, and I was just like, okay, weirdo, whatever. So we were just like, I think we were quiet for a bit, and then all of a sudden we heard this loud impact on a roof. Not like a roof like above us, a roof like somewhere in the living room area, like somebody or something just jumped on the roof. And I think my grandma was like, what was that? And my aunt, this specific, I have a lot of aunts too, but this specific aunt, she's a scaredy cat. She gets scared so easily. So she was like, no, mommy, shut up. No, it's nothing. It's just a storm. And my grandma was like, no, it's not. Like, it's not stormy out. And I'm just like, why is my grandmother being like this right now? And then all of a sudden my grandma was like, Diana? Like, Diana's my other cousin, and she was sleeping next to her. And we're just like, and Diana was like, what? And she was like, oh, I have to tell you guys something, but I'm gonna tell you in the morning. Which freaked everyone, like everybody got like freaked out, because we're just like, oh great. Oh, remember that I mentioned that I can feel energy, like, or something's there? I felt like something was behind the curtain, behind the window, like something that's outside of the house, outside of the window, looking at me through the curtains. I don't know what's wrong with me. When I usually feel that there's something there, I would just turn around and face that thing. And I just don't know why I've been doing it. And then a couple of minutes later, you know, we're all trying to go to sleep, and I start to feel anxious, not because of that thing that I'm looking at. I felt like something was about to happen. And I was like, you know what, whatever, Nisa, just fucking go to sleep. And then I heard like somebody stepped on like a twig outside, but there was nothing there. So we decided to ignore it. Everyone was quiet, and I tried to go to sleep. And then all of a sudden, I felt like I was in, this is gonna be so weird. It's gonna sound so strange. It felt like I was in between different frequency. It's like, basically I'm not in this 3-dimensional reality world, whatever. Basically, I could tell that I was in a different frequency. I was in a different dimension. I think that's the simplest way to, you know, and it felt like something was holding me down. Like literally, I could not move because I was like sleeping like that. I felt like there was a cane pushing like behind my waist. Like it was trying to like basically fucking poking me, like trying to stab me with it. And something just hold my shoulder down so I could not move. And when that happened, I knew exactly what this creature is. Like, I know who she is. I know it was a woman. I knew her name. I forgot her name. Her name was Ma something. And if you know Bahasa Malay, it's kind of a creepy name to start with, like Ma. And I know she's old. I know it was a she, and I was at least it has like a feminine energy. She's old. She is a conservative Muslim. Yes, jinns do, from what I know, they basically live kind of like us, but they're different. They're different creatures. They have their religion and all that kind of structured stuff. And she's definitely a traditional conservative Muslim. And the first thing I said to her, it wasn't me talking out loud, it's mostly like a telepathy kind of thing. The first thing I told her is to get the fuck off of me. Let me fucking go. I swear to God, I'm gonna fucking beat you up. Or something like that. And I was just like, I basically just cussed her out. I was being rude, for sure. I was being rude. I was not having it. I was just like, let me fucking go. I was mad. I was very, very angry. I knew exactly what was going on. I was scared, but angry at the same time. The reason why I'm kind of quote unquote brave is because, it's so weird. My whole life, the houses that I've stayed, most of my house, I think all of the houses that I've stayed, is basically haunted. I've lived in a haunted house, like where there's a lot of jinns. Like I've dealt with this. I've always had weird dreams or had something, try to bother me, but I've never been held down. And I could feel this like pressure around my waist, like behind my waist. Like literally, it was like she was probably walking with a cane. That's how I know she was old. But like I could communicate with her. I was cussing her out, telling her to let me freaking go. And I was saying something like, I'm gonna freaking call my mom, she's gonna deal with you. The reason why I said the reason why I threatened to call my mother, like any adult would, is because my mother is also experienced in this. She knows, the knowledge of jinns and whatnot. She has communicated with a jinn before she divorced with my dad, because one of our houses just, it was so bad. The energy was so bad that there was a lot of these low vibrational beings there. And she spoke to a couple of them, actually. Like she warned like a couple to like stay away from, her kids, which is me and my little brother. And then she communicated with another of these beings. She had experience. She definitely had knowledge too. Same goes to my father. And I was like, do you know how like parents usually know what you're up to or if you're in trouble? So I was hoping these are one of the times that my mom could feel me, but she was fast asleep next door, so that was kind of annoying. So I was basically on my own. Another weird fun fact about me, this is like a really weird video where I'm just revealing you guys my weird secrets. So growing up, my mother basically signed me and my little brother was there too, signed me up to a psychic master class, basically something to do with that. And I was taught how to make a bubble, build a bubble. And every time when I feel scared, or when I feel like something weird is going on, or like something strange is around me, I would always imagine that there is this bubble and I can expand this bubble. It's like, Incredibles, and how Violet can have this like shield. I can't remember what it's called, but you know what I'm saying, right? You know what I mean, like this thing. And I've always done that, and it always worked, especially when I pray or when I meditate, when I'm basically spiritually responsible, like when I actually practice my spirituality. That's how I know like the stronger I am, and also how sensitive I am too, because you're aware of this thing, but I don't need to talk about that. But anyway, so because of this thing, it's like, it's a huge pressure, and it hurt, honestly. Like I felt something there, and I want her to get off of me. And since my mother is not an option because she cannot hear or feel me or whatever, I imagine I have this, that's when I start doing this force field. Yeah, force field. So I do this force field, and I could feel the pressure lessen and lessen, but I could still also feel like how it intensifies too, and it's just, you just need a lot of concentration. And I did a lot of zikir, since, you know, being a Muslim and being trapped in a Islamic school for a bit, like you have this knowledge that basically protects you. So that's what I did. I recite a couple of things to make the force feel like, you know, to make the energy much more stronger in a way, because that's what I believed in. So yeah, so it was like a tug of war. It's just like, she's like, it's like pushing and pulling, and she wasn't happy with me, and I realized, oh fuck, she doesn't understand me. Like she probably knows that I'm being aggressive with her, and I can tell that she knows that I'm pushing. Like I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I know what she is. And it's like we both kind of, we get each other, and we get that we're both equally pissed at each other. However, she couldn't understand me because she doesn't speak English. So I calmed down, and I said I was sorry. And in Bahasa Melayu, I said I was sorry that I was being rude. I was like, oh, you're here because of that, because I yelled at my aunt and my mom, right? And I could tell her, she's like, yeah, she thinks I'm being rude, and she knows that I don't pray. So I was like, you know what, I'm sorry. You know, this is your place. This is your crib. So I should be more respectful. And I know you were pissed that I yelled because it was Maghrib, and it was sunset, and I was being loud, and I shouldn't have done that. Blah blah blah. And I said I was sorry, and I actually meant it. I was being rude. You know, that's what happens when you stay in America for far too long. You kind of forget where your fucking Asian manners. So it's 100% my fault. And I also tell her to get off of me, and I told her, like, yeah, I'll be a better person, fine, I'm sorry, I won't do that again, I won't bother you, and I'll be nicer to my aunt and my mom. And I think I forgot what else that I said to her, but I also felt like there was like 3 other things in the corner. I don't know if it was watching us, I don't know if they were trying to support her, I don't know, but I remember there was like 3 other things, or 2 other things somewhere in the corner. And after I said I was sorry, after we had our understanding, I could still feel her, like, this thing like she's just trying to just hold me down. And of course, me being me, I will forever try to push her out. I like to think I'm a fighter, and I don't give up easily, especially when I felt like somebody was holding me down. So yeah, and I said I was sorry, and I won't do it again. And I told her, like, I'm leaving tomorrow anyway, so I'm just, I shouldn't be her problem anytime soon. And just like that, I am back into this dimension. I didn't feel like I just woke up from a nap or anything. No, I was wide awake. I was alert. It's like when you're in that dimension, it felt like everything stops, like a pause. Not something like romantic, like a Taylor Swift song, but it's just like the air is just weird. And once, you know, I snapped and I felt like I was in this dimension, it just, I know I was back in, you know, my reality, my dimension, the three-dimensional world, whatever people want to call it. And I could hear the fan. I couldn't hear the fan when I was in the thing, and it was just weird. Yeah, so I could hear it, and then I fell asleep. And the next day I was like, I asked my mom, like, Mama, did you hear me? She was like, what are you talking about? And I was just like, well, I've been trying to call you, like you know, telepathically, whatever. She was like, what are you saying? And I told her, I was just like, well, this lady, her name's this, and she helped me down. And my mom thought it was hilarious because she was like, well, that's what happens when you're so freaking loud. Of course it's gonna happen to me. My aunt's friend, she was like, yeah, actually she's been looking for you the whole day. And I was just like, oh my god, what? And then she was like, yeah, she knows your name, like my actual legal name. And she was like, yeah, when you were hanging out with your cousins, she came to me and she was like, have you seen Fareeha? And she said, oh no, she's probably somewhere. And she was like, I didn't look at you because oh yeah, no, then I remember, before, you know, that thing helped me down, she said, my friend, my aunt's friend, she turned to the other side, like she wasn't on her back anymore, she was on her other side. She was like, yeah, she actually came to me and told me not to look at you, and she just wanted to have a chat with me. So yeah, that's my first one-on-one communication with a jinn, and I hope it's the only time that I have to communicate with a jinn, because every time I go back to Malaysia, or when I used to live in Malaysia, oh my god, so many stories, so many weird things would happen to me. And it's really weird because a lot of people say that usually they would go after the first child who is a son, the first son, because, you know, patriarchy and all that stuff. And it's kind of odd that I am the first child and the first grandchild from both sides of my family. And I don't know, maybe I just have this big dick energy with me. And I know it sounds crazy, and you guys, yeah, you guys know a little bit weird tidbits about me and my background. So yeah, just let me know in the comments down below if you want me to talk more about these kind of things. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. I'll see you guys soon. Take care, guys.